Hello everyone, it's me, it's Clayton, and I just got back from seeing M. Night Shyamalan's new thriller, Split. Now when it comes to M. Night Shyamalan, we can all agree that when he first debuted back in 1999, I believe, with The Sixth Sense, we all thought he'd be an amazing director. And we even thought so with his other great film, Unbreakable, starring Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson. But ever since then, he's been falling on a very big slump, with cinematic disasters like The Village, The Last Airbender, and After Earth. But I'm proud to say that with Split, he hasn't reached his heights yet, but he's finally made a film that I consider decent and worth watching. But let's get to the story, shall we? The story is about a man named Kevin, played by James McAvoy. Kevin has dissociative identity disorder, and he has 23 different personalities in his head. He kidnaps 3 teenage girls and locks them in a windowless room. The 3 girls have to find a way out while finding out more about this Kevin guy and his different personalities, while simultaneously Kevin waits for a 24th personality to awaken that he calls the Beast. But that's all I can say without spoiling anything. Because like a lot of great thrillers, one of the best things about Split is finding out each plot twist as it unravels. Since it's an M. Night Shyamalan film, there is, of course, a plot twist in the film, but like most thrillers, it doesn't feel over the top or out of place by the time you get to the plot twist. And seeing the story unravel on your own is pretty interesting, even if the teenage girls aren't the most well written. Some of their dialogue is sort of cringeworthy, but I get more or less why that is. Sometimes teenagers can say certain things that don't feel natural and they don't really translate well to a script. Thankfully, James McAvoy's dialogue, as pretty much all of his personalities, is generally pretty good. As McAvoy's surprisingly a very versatile actor, which is what you need for someone who with multiple personalities. Some of the personalities can be hilarious, some of them can be threatening, some of them can be sympathetic, and none of them feel out of place with how the character's written. Personally, my favorites are the germaphobe Dennis and the dominating female personality, Patricia, but his other personalities are pretty memorable too. Just don't expect to see all 23 because, heck, if they tried to show all 23 personalities, this movie would be way too long. Anya Taylor-Joy plays the main girl. I believe her name is, I forget her name, but she does a very good job with her character too. And even though she sort of underacts her performance in the beginning of the film, it gets better throughout. The same can be said with a lot of the other actors. Another thing that I love about this film is the fact that even though it has a lot of the Shyamalan thriller tropes, it manages to still use them to make a film that's engrossing rather than laughable. For example, M. Night Shyamalan does have a cameo, but his cameo doesn't feel out of place or just there for misspot exposition. In fact, the cameo he's given is actually fairly funny. And it's not like the unintentional comedy, like he's trying to be scary, but the idea is so ridiculous or it's so poorly thought out that he ends up making it unintentionally funny. He's legitimately trying to be funny. Also, there is stay after the film because there is a certain scene that happens before the credits that ties this film to another film of his. I'm not going to spoil which film, but it's actually pretty interesting, and it explains a lot of things that occur in this film. Now, it's clear that the budget of the film is very low. It's around $10 million. But to the film's credit, it does make good use of the limited environments by keeping the locations very few but very distinctive. For example, the windowless room that the girls are stuck in is rather plain looking, but also rather intimidating. Like, it's a prison cell you'll never be able to get out of, and it adds to the tension of the story. In fact, even though the film has a great score, there are some scenes that have no music at all, and I actually like that, because it just lets McAvoy's creepy performance sit in with the audience, but it doesn't feel like it goes on too long. It just makes me think that Shyamalan knew that creepy music would be unnecessary, and just letting the performance sink in was good enough. So overall, Split is a film that's gonna split people's opinions depending on how they like thrillers of this kind, especially considering this one is fairly slow paced. So if you're gonna watch this film, grab some popcorn and drink and be patient. But for a guy who's had to sit through so many terrible films of his, like especially Last Airbender and After Earth, where I lost faith in him completely, it's a very good return to form for him. So I'll give Split an 8 out of 10. Definitely see it if you're a fan of the thriller genre, and if you like to see Shyamalan at his finest. See you next time.